Okay, hey everyone, and welcome to Money Mindset for Healers. I'm Holly C, your host, and I'm just going to go through just a little bit of housekeeping for our call today. So please leave your mic on mute just to keep background noise to minimum for those of you who are joining live, and also thank you guys for joining me here live today. Just in case you're not that familiar with Zoom, when there's a red line over your mic, it means it's muted. And same with your video. By default, it is also off. And there'll be opportunities during our talk and call, presentations, webinar, whatever you want to call it today, to ask questions, to share. But do keep in mind that I am recording this, and that if you are being recorded, you're going to be posted on YouTube. And so you can do that, or if you feel like you'd rather keep private, you can send a message in the chat. Speaking of which, let's take a little look at the chat here. Said hello to some people. Oh, hello, Suzanne and Sabrina. Nice for you guys to be joining me here today. Seems like there's a lot of interest in our topic today. I'm just going to stop my slide sharing right now. So what I was saying earlier was that the plan was to have a friend and a friend who is also really passionate about financial freedom, and I to be doing sort of like a back and forth interview. And I was tuning into the universe and asking, should I prepare a slide deck? And the universe said, no, be spontaneous, speak from your heart, and just see where it goes. And there's a little extra dimension of spontaneity today, which is my friend is experiencing some technical issues, so she won't be able to do a back and forth. But I had an idea, which is a little bit of back and forth with people in the live audience today. So actually, what I would like to ask is maybe ask one or two people, why are you joining the call today? Because I've noticed that there's a lot of interest in today's talk. Somebody from New Zealand, Arvin, cool. So if you'd like to share, does anybody want to share? What you can do in Zoom is you can scroll down to the bottom of the screen, click the reactions icon, and then there will be a little icon that says raise hand. So let me just check if anybody wants to share. And you can also type in the chat box as well. Now, keep in mind, I'm using a laptop computer, so when you type, the text is like this small, and I'm still going through the process of improving my vision, reducing my eyeglass prescription, but I took a step back over the winter and also the past year just after my father's passing, so I did a lot of bad habits that make your eyesight worse, so I'm going to have to kind of lean in to check the chat box. Okay, so I don't see any. Here's a comment. I'm delighted to be present with you from Yvonne. All to build and keep the reflexology energy live and well from Vancouver, BC. Ooh, Nelly. I'm sorry, I'm like bad with reading out names. Nelike from Netherlands. Ooh, from Berlin, we have Carolyn, Asmina in Vancouver. Malin from London. Oh, another Malia from London. Okay, too many chats. I see a hand up. So, Elise, go ahead. What brings you here today?
Hi, Holly. It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
So I took your soul mastery class, and
Yeah.
I've actually been practicing Chinese reflexology at a spa.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, thank you. But I'm wanting to do more like private practice stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Finding that it's just like I feel like a block.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'm just like I want to like go to the next step and like do it on my own. But it's just I don't know.
Yeah, I
There's
totally.
just something that I'm trying to yeah. So
Yeah.
all of that. So it was perfect timing and I saw this yesterday.
Oh, cool.
Good to hear what you have to share.
Okay. First, can I ask, where are you? If you wanted to share with this group in this recording, because there's always people asking me, where can I get Chinese reflexology?
So I'm in Los Angeles, in Venice
Oh,
Beach.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So people who want reflexology in Venice Beach, If you live in LA, here's someone here. Maybe you can, if you want, if you have like an email that you want to just send it to me. And then eventually I want to put up, or if you have a website, send that to me. And then I can also include that info for people who are looking when they ask me about where to get Chinese reflexology. Okay, awesome. So I love what Elise said there about it feeling a block, because this is really at the heart of money mindset, is why you don't have the prosperity that you're seeking is because there's some sort of block inside. It has absolutely nothing to do with what you're doing. So there's so much, so if I'm interviewing myself, my question would be, hey, Holly, why are you doing this talk? Well, good question. One of the reasons is because the universe is giving me the guidance to share this, but also because there's like this dearth of information or support in terms of moving through the blocks and shifting the mindset. There's a lot about how to like follow the system, do my ABC course or whatever, and then you will make 6 figures or 7 figures, but it doesn't really address the internal blocks. And in order to be prosperous, we really need to root in and clear those. So the universe is sharing with me to help people with this more internal way of approaching money. So, you guys know that I'm really into Chinese medicine, right? And I know a lot of my audience is also into the Chinese medicine and energy healing. So if you think of a yin yang, we have the two sides. We have the yin, which is the white element with the black dot, and we have the yang, which is the black, sort of like looks like a little fish with a white eye. Or sorry, I mixed that up. Yin is the black one, and yang is the white one. I have the smartest reader, so somebody has probably already mentioned that in the chat. So black is yin, represents night, also represents internal and feminine. And yang is masculine. It is the white, that represents daytime and action. So we have a lot of people focusing on the yang of money, like what do I do, as opposed to going within the internal, the yin, I call it the yin-ternal, in terms of prosperity. Now, the other reason it's really important for me to be giving this talk is because so many of you are healers or are the people who are helping others. And people who are givers have what I call sort of like the healer's paradox. You have a conundrum when it comes to welcoming in money, and I'll talk more about that in just a bit. But you are the people who are helping to make the world a better place. And let's just take a moment and just take a deep breath, feel into your heart, and feel into the connection of everybody who's here. And you feel this peacefulness, this groundedness, this supportive energy, right? Now, we're all so good at sending that out, but we have a challenge with receiving it. And when it comes to money, guess what? You need to be able to receive it. So you guys are the ones who are making a difference in the world because of your giving energy, because of your helping nature, because you want to end suffering. But there is a tendency, and I'm speaking from personal experience too, there's a tendency to, when you see someone in need of help, you will go immediately to help them. And then you will not think of yourself first. You tend to put other people ahead of yourself. But in order for this world to change, you need to be doing the things that you are doing, but you also need to be like, if you're a garden, you need to tend to your own garden so that your garden is bountiful, and then you have more fruits and vegetables to share with others. So I can help healers to tend to their own garden, and then the garden is more bountiful, and then we can help more people, and then we can make a bigger difference in the world. So that's really my ulterior motive and why the universe is nudging me to do this, because I can only help so many people by teaching about reflexology. It's like massaging your feet. How many people want to learn about that? But I'm looking at this Zoom screen here, and I see 1, 2, 3 screens full of people, full of healers, and you are the people who are making a difference. So imagine the magnification of that if you guys don't have to worry about money, because money, having enough money, or making money, it is a distraction. It takes time. We hear about people promising, hey, if you follow the ABC system, you'll make 6 figures. What they don't tell you is how much work is involved, and how much, it's like, here's the ABC system, but they left out, well, before ABC, I had 1 to 100 things, like 5 years of things that I did before I could get to ABC, which then led to 6 figures. So there's a really long time frame. There's a lot of stuff to do. If you want to make 6 figures as a healer, you have to be really good at sales and marketing, and you have to put in a lot of time into sales and marketing, which is what I had to do a few years prior. I was finding that I was spending maybe about, I'd say, at least a third of the year, like full-time, hardcore, just on sales and marketing. So when it was like time to teach a course, I had to let people know about it. And it would be at least 2 months of work to generate enough buzz and interest and let people know about it. So it's a lot of work. And same would apply for like a one-to-one practice. In order to have your client list overflowing, you need to be doing sales and marketing. Now, is that the best use of your time? Is that you following your purpose? If you are wanting to serve on a one-on-one basis, it may be so, but I have an alternative for you. But there's also one more thing I wanted to mention too, is that when you're working as a healer here in the United States, I know it works the same way in Canada, you're being taxed at the highest level. You're getting taxed more than somebody who's working at a job, like say working full-time at Facebook, or because they're paying, their employer is paying half the Social Security and Medicare taxes. But when you're self-employed, you have to pay the employee's contribution. So suddenly your taxes are higher. That, and you have no health insurance here in the United States, so you've got to pay for that as well. So when you're trying to earn your money as a healer, you're swimming upstream. It's a lot harder because your expenses are higher and your taxes are higher. So there's got to be another way to do this. This is why maybe you're always having just enough money, but you can't seem to get ahead. So if you're always working and then you're trading your time for money, the only way you can have more money is if you're working harder, and then you're not tending to your own garden. What happens is your garden starts to, some weeds start creeping in. Oh, you forgot to water the plant. That's going to take a toll on you over time, because healers are always givers. I find that in terms of Chinese medicine, there's this concept of kidney jing, which is your life force energy, and it's considered to be stored in your kidneys. What I have seen a lot, it's not that uncommon, is that healers of all people often deplete their kidney jing faster than other people. It is because it's not just, well, one way you can deplete it is if you're like a type A personality and you're like, go, 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 But another way you can deplete that energy is if you're always giving it away to others and you don't make that time to replenish yourself, which again, I put my hand up as a healer. You think just one more email or one more person to help, I can do this. And it will eventually, it's kind of like, I got my phone here. It's like you're turning on all the apps running in the background. You've got the light on highest, and you're not plugging it back in to recharge. So you're not in the great grand picture of things, you may be able to sustain it for a while, but you are really shortchanging yourself and you're shortchanging the world. And again, it's because you have to do a whole bunch of things in order to make money so that you can get by and you can survive, you can support those that you love. So that is why I am teaching today, why I'm being called to do more talks like this, and so that you don't have to give so much of your energy to the things that are using it up, but not replenishing you. And also to put yourself first, because that is how you're going to shift your money mindset. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick look just to see if there were any questions that popped up in the chat box here. Let's see. Here's somebody, Meg saying, I'm with you, all in my headphones while simultaneously working the customer service counter. Oh, thank you for doing that multitasking. But again, if money wasn't an issue, thank you for sharing, then you would not have to do this. And if money's not an issue, we have freedom with our time. We can make time for those things that are important to us. Meg was just saying, it's important for me to participate in this talk to hear perspectives on how to shift your thought paradigm into making the best choices to follow your dreams so they lead you where you want to be. It's not about money for me. It's about learning to follow my intuition and for that to align with income. I have big dreams and in keeping my mind open to new ideas on financial freedom. Okay, let's see. Arvin was just sharing about, I'm passionate to share how breath, body, and cellular level works in harmony. Tracy was saying, I wonder about the divides that we see and how money is made and what we say we value. Is it possible to invest in mainstream publicly traded companies and still be financially integrous? And she says, no is my gut. And the next question is, how do we invest in ourselves and other integrous structures profitably? I would say myself personally, the answer is yes. So I invest in companies that I feel good about. I don't invest in like oil and gas, but I invest in companies that I feel good about. Is any company perfect? No, but is any person perfect? You look at the aggregate value and make a choice from there. Is this something that is always, around like a, telecom or a utility company? Yes, there are some that are, dragging their feet on going to sustainability, but there are others that are more progressive about it. So, and I'm liking to what we have here about what Meg, I believe, brought up here about talking about it's not about money. And this is something that I want to address too. So I'm as I say, we're going to be very organic today because that's what the universe told me. So let's talk about the idea it's not about money. Financial freedom, prosperity is not about money. And this is something I see with healers. This is something I've experienced myself, where you think, I don't care about money. So I don't care about, as long as I have enough for myself and family, I don't need to make lots of money. I'm not a materialistic person. That's definitely me. Just, show of hands who has their cameras on, who is not materialistic. So you don't really care about having lots of things or, fancy car or, oh, look at my, fancy house and look at all my fancy clothes. This polar fleece that I'm wearing, I think it's like 10 years old. It's like, should I dress prosperous for this call? And I'm like, no, I want to be authentic. I want to be real, right? But when it comes to prosperity, oh yeah, and I've heard also like, oh, prosperity to me is about, the connections I have, the community I have, the health I have, this wealth in health and relationships and being safe and in a comfortable place. I see how much more I have than say, somebody who is living in the slums in India. And I'm so thankful and grateful for that. I'm very prosperous. Yes, but when it comes to prosperity, money matters, okay? And it's not about loving money, but it's also about not being repelled by money, by like, oh, I don't care about money. Guess what? If you don't care about money, we're following law of attraction here. Then money is not going to, you're not going to be drawing that energy to you. Let's face it, like when you are thinking about manifesting things, let's say you want to maybe go on a trip. So your idea of a trip is not like, oh, let me go on the, gluttonous cruise, right? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just thinking of myself. That's not the kind of thing I want to go to. I think of the eco impact. I think of like all the types of people who tend to be attracted to that, like the ridiculousness of a giant floating city on the ocean. But maybe you want to explore somewhere. Like went to New Zealand a few years back. That was a wonderful vacation. Went to visit my husband's cousin. We took his mom, my husband's mom, so mother-in-law. And when we went to visit the cousin and his family, like this was the first time she had seen him in years, and that she got to see him where he was living. And I remember seeing her sitting on the couch watching her nephew and her nephew's kids, and there was like a tear in her eye. So this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these experiences you want. I'm talking also about having the things that you need in order to thrive, because when you are thriving, then you can do the things that you do to make the world a better place at a more effective level. You can also give more. You can support more. And in order to do that, you can't just do it all by yourself and all your energy. You need money to do that. And like, think about things you want to do. If you could hire somebody to do that, how much more effective would that be? And I see some nodding here. And just in terms of just having the things you need to thrive, right now, I'm actually a little bit chilly because I'm in my office space. I've got the heater cranked up. I think I need to crank it up some more. It's just a space heater. This room is above the garage. It does not have any HVAC. There are no ducts or anything going to this room. So in the winter, it is freezing cold. In the summer, it is blistering hot. If I had money, so it's going to cost a few $1,000s to install HVAC and have everything set up, would I be more effective? Absolutely, because right now I'm still a little bit cold and slightly uncomfortable. If I was warmer, I would be feeling better and I would be able to thrive more instead of keep going, rubbing my hands. So same thing for you guys. I know there are things, and as a healer, because you're easy to give and not so much to receive, there are probably little things in your home or things that you need in your practice, or say, even if you were paying for like advertising, could that help you attract more people, the people who need to be helped and supported by you? Absolutely. So in order to do this, you can't barter your way into Google ads. You need to be making money. So one of the big mindset shifts is you don't have to love the money, but you need to be neutral about the money. You need to recognize that money is not this evil thing. So I remember years ago, I just had these stereotypes that rich people are greedy, they're like plundering the planet, they're taking advantage of people. So that kind of speaks to what one person here shared about, can I invest in public companies? And then there's like a mindset there that you need to look at, is that, oh, all public companies are evil and they must be plundering the planet. Well, a lot of these companies, how many people have friends and family working for public companies? Are your friends and family evil people? Are they choosing to work for evil companies? Now, there are some industries that are, let's say they are not as aligned, but there are others that are more neutral, or that they need to exist, like a company that manufactures farming equipment. We all need to eat. Somebody needs to create the farming equipment, but then you go, oh, well, there's the factory farms and all that, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't mean every tractor is being sold to factory farms. So you kind of have to find that balance. These things exist in our society, and you can learn about them and find the ones that are in alignment with how you view things. So that is really important, is to start shifting your view that all ways to make money that are already established are evil, greedy, gluttonous, run by nasty people. Because I've had those views too. We need to erase that and start to be open to the idea that maybe it isn't so, that maybe there are companies that act in that manner, but maybe there are also companies that do not act in that manner. So the companies can also change because of consumer pressures, shareholder pressure. When you own shares in a company, you get to vote in the company. And a lot of companies, maybe they're not doing it out of the goodness of their heart, but they're doing it just because of shareholder activism. So there are just so many ways to just start thinking in a bigger picture view in terms of money. And the other one thing I want to mention about why you want to have money is because I know a lot of people who follow my work over the past few years. You guys have been aware there's been a lot of let's see, I'll just call it what it is. It's like a shitstorm in my life over the past from 2019 to 2022, a 3-year period where every single, not every single, but a lot of life challenges and curveballs came my way. Very stressful, very traumatic. I lost my cat, I lost my father, I lost 2 aunts, and other things too as well. And you can tell, just listening to me, it's still stuff I'm processing. If I had to be focused on doing things to just make money, so like it would have been very challenging. And this whole experience allowed me to see that you may be coming from this place where your kidney jing is very strong, your well that you can draw water from to give to others is very deep. But when life sends you a whole bunch of crap, it depletes from that well. And then you're like, I need to, look after myself. I need to tend to my own garden. I've given everything I cannot give anymore. If you don't have financial freedom, you have to continue making money the way that you make money, which takes energy. I've been very fortunate in that about 3 years ago, I actually started shifting my money mindset. I started investing and stuff like that. And then I could, as a result, I was reducing expenses, but not in a, not having enough way. So I'll talk more about that too. But as a result, I could scale back on doing like one big course launch each year, which would have taken me, in addition to the marketing and promotion, but the actual teaching would have been about 4 months of work. And then on top of that, because of the way it's taxed, it gets to the point where I calculated 47.3 cents of every dollar I earn goes to taxes. So then I'm only keeping 52.7 cents. And I haven't even paid for all my basic expenses yet. So that's what I mean about swimming upstream as a healer. So when things are crappy, when you have money, this is why money matters. You can take a step back and tend to your garden. You may still need to do things to work to earn money, but you may not have to do as much. The other thing too is you have money that is there available to you so that you can make choices that are important to you. So prior to the 3 years, I remember thinking, oh, it would be great if something happened to my parents. Could we afford to fly back to Toronto? It would be kind of a big chunk out of the budget. We'd do it, but it would have been a big bite out of the budget and it would make me hesitate. And when my father was on his deathbed, it was during, I think it was the Omicron wave, where all the airports were packed, all the flights were being canceled, and the governments were requiring that you had to have not just proof of vaccination, you had to have a PCR, I think it's called a PCR test that you were COVID negative. But because everybody was traveling, it was impossible to schedule one of these tests for like, an average price, like, say under $100 because they were all booked up. But, it wasn't something I could say, hey, I'll go next month, right? But so I had the prosperity and the financial abundance that I could pay whatever amount for the flight that I needed and whatever amount necessary. So I think my test was a few $100s to jump the queue to get my COVID test. But I was so thankful that I could do that. So that's why it's so important. Okay, so next question. Hey, Holly. Let me just pull it up here. What is the prosperity conflict? You've mentioned that. Okay, so for healers, you guys are givers, right? You want to help. You got a garden full of fruit and vegetables. You're not going to hoard it. You're going to give every single one away, and just make sure you have just enough for yourself. So the conflict there, like the conundrum, the things fighting against each other, is that you're always giving and you're not receiving, as I mentioned before. In order to have money, you need to receive money. You need to accept money. Healers are one of the few professions that I know of, one of these callings, these career choices, where you guys actually try to lower your wages as much as possible. Like you consciously, actively do that. Because I see some nodding. What profession do people, anybody working, the general rule of thumb is people want to get a raise, right? You're doing a good job. I should get a raise, right? You're like a house painter. You want to make more money doing your role as a house painter, or maybe you own a business painting houses. When inflation goes up, costs of things go up, cost of paint goes up, cost of hiring painters goes up, you charge more, right? With healers, and I speak from personal experience again, you're like, okay, this person is suffering. I feel bad about taking their money. I want to alleviate their suffering. What is the least amount of money I can charge them? Oh, I need to be able to support everyone, including people who cannot afford my services. So I'll just charge them as little as possible. And when I do receive money, I feel a little bit guilty receiving this money because I'm sharing my gifts. Well, because I have these gifts, I should be able to give them away to everyone. After all, they're gifts. I remember when I was treating people with giving reflexology treatments, I came up with this a friend who was a massage therapist. Her advice was, you sell packages. So instead of just doing one massage, or one reflexology treatment, and then you hope the person books again, you go, how would you like a 3-session package? You save money. Say one is $100. You buy 3, it's $270. And you buy 10, it is like $800. So one would be 100, 3 would be $90 each, and 10 would be $80 each. What I would do is somebody would come and they would buy, say, the 3-session package. So they were paying $90 each session. And then after the 3rd session, they'd be like, you know what? I actually want to get the 10 session. And instead of charging them $800, I'd go, okay, well, 10 sessions is $800. Let me subtract the 3 sessions, and then you just pay the difference. And so they're getting that 10-session rate, even though they originally bought the 3-session. And so I would be, charging, I don't know, I can't do the math in my head right now. Anyway, the point is that I would be giving away money. And I know this client, when I said that, I saw it on their face. They were like, whoa. And then they're like, hey, she's giving me a deal. I'll take it, right? Who doesn't want to take a deal, right? But I was shortchanging myself that way. And I would do that all the time. And I'm sure people here have done that as well. So that's the paradox. The paradox is that you're feeling bad about asking for money for what you do. And my counterpoint to this is everything is about an energy exchange. So when you are charging less, there's a little piece inside you that is feeling it every time you undercharge. It's like, and you justify it because of your giving heart, but there's a part inside you, your heart is breaking because you're shortchanging yourself. Okay. You're breaking your own heart. You are not honoring your own heart. You're not honoring yourself. And a little bit of your soul feels that. And a little bit of your heart breaks because you're being so kind to everyone else that you're not being kind and generous to yourself. Would you treat somebody else that way? Would you say, hey, I want you to give me a discount? Or would you go, I really value what you're doing for me, almost to the point where you want to, tip them, give them extra. You're so grateful for their help. Many of your clients are that way as well, but you are like, no, don't pay me because I feel bad about it. So this is something you need to look at. And the counterpoint to this is one way to look at it is, again, if somebody's coming to you and they say, I want to give you seeds for your garden, would you turn that away? No, of course you'd be like, oh, well, I can plant these seeds. It lets me grow more vegetables. Then I have more to give away. So same thing with receiving money. And same thing with this energy exchange. If the energy exchange is not equal, where you are receiving as much as you are giving, what you are doing is you are drawing from your kidney jing and you are depleting your life force energy, which may not bite you in the butt right now, but 5 years from now, 30 years from now, or if a whole bunch of crap happens in your life and you're really stressed, that is when your kidney jing, that battery of energy, that's when it really matters that it's strong, because this is your health and your longevity is based in your kidney jing. So you always have to be replenishing that, which is why you want to receive. So yes, there may be somebody who cannot afford your services, but there are other people who can afford your services. And when you reach this place of prosperity and abundance, then you can help those people. So I'm not saying you immediately go, don't help these people. If you have some energy or time or money that you can then help somebody else, then by all means, but don't do it to the point where you're just like ripping the plants out of your garden and going, here, take the whole plant, and you have nothing left for yourself. Okay, so that is the conflict that healers are facing. So just be aware of when you're always giving and recognize that you need to be receiving as well. And one of the other things that I like to look at, like I had mentioned that I was doing, 6 figures a few years ago. I'm not doing it now, and it's a deliberate choice because of the amount of time I had to put into marketing, also because of the 3 years challenging life events that I went through. I needed to scale back, but I was also shifting my money mindset. And you know what I learned? I learned it is detrimental to me to be making 6 figures. I know. You think, wow, that is so great to be making 6 figures. That's what we hear about from people promoting, money making how-to, those Yang style courses, as opposed to the internal. But when you're making 6 figures, you hit higher tax brackets. And as a result, you're keeping less and less every extra dollar you make. So everybody, depending where you live, your taxes are different. So you do need to kind of start learning about this stuff. And I know there's a lot of people like, oh, I don't want to learn about numbers. But if you want to make money, you do actually have to look at numbers. Okay. So I'll just put that out there. We're not going to talk about numbers today, but just plant that seed that you do need to look at numbers. But don't worry, it's not complicated math. I didn't really love math in school. I was okay with math. But I love numbers now, actually, because numbers equal financial freedom. When you look at numbers, numbers will help you get to financial freedom. And financial freedom it's not some, oh, I have enough to get by sort of general vague thing. There's actually a way to quantify it. Financial freedom is when you have enough passive income. So passive income is money that comes in when you're not working for it. So you don't have to go do a massage treatment, earn that money, put your time in and get money back for it. But maybe you have, you wrote a book about massage and you put that up for sale on Amazon, and then you get a small royalty for it. That's passive income. Or passive income is investing in a company and it earns dividends and it pays you. So, or passive income is maybe you have an extra room in your house that you decide to rent out to perhaps like a student, you live near university. So you're not really working too much. Like you probably have to put in a bit of time to set things up, but then afterwards, it does not take much time. That's what passive income is. So financial freedom is when your passive income is equal to or greater than your expenses. So you can do this monthly or you can do this annually. I like to do it monthly because it's usually our expenses are monthly. We have, like our utilities, our rent or our mortgage, et cetera, et cetera. And then as a healer, your income may come in like, you might have a very great bountiful month, and then maybe in the summer there's fewer people around, it's less. So you could sort of do like an average, but that's still money that you're actively working for. Whereas passive income usually comes in quite regularly. Book sales may be a bit different, or course sales may be different. But when it comes to investing, it's usually pretty regular. Now, there's economic conditions that can affect that, but you can sort of count on it, like with stock dividends. They come in every quarter, or some of them pay every month. Or if you put your money in like a certificate of deposit or, a bank account that has a higher interest rate, then you can pretty much count on it being a certain amount will come in based on how much you have in your account. So it takes time to grow your passive income to cover your expenses. Now, there's two parts to it. One is growing the passive income. So this is going to be beyond the scope of today's talk, okay? We're talking money mindset here, but I'm just planting seeds again. So the idea that you could invest to take your money so that your money makes money, then you don't have to work so hard. And then what you do, your gifts, you could actually gift them. Once you become financially free, you don't have to work for money. And then usually what happens is that when you're investing your money to make money, the money that you make starts to make money, it compounds, and then you'll have more money. So it's like a growing over time sort of thing. But then you can do what you do, and you don't have to work so hard at doing all the marketing and sales to bring in the clients. You just focus on the healing aspects or the things that you enjoy doing. And that is where I'm gradually stepping towards. Now, the other half of that equation is cover expenses. So you can look at what expenses can I reduce? Now, this isn't about making yourself, be living as, as bare bones as possible, but there are probably low-hanging fruit. And again, I will talk more about this in a future talk, but you probably have low-hanging fruit that you can pluck where you can save money. So for us, it was the mortgage, because mortgage rates went down, but we were on adjustable rate mortgage. So that meant, and I believe it would have adjusted in August 2023 this year. I didn't know that you could refinance your mortgage earlier. I used to think that you just wait until it got to the adjustable date, and then you would refinance then. If I had done that, rates would probably be, I'm just estimating, it'd probably be like 6% on the mortgage if I had waited. But instead, I shifted my money mindset, and I learned, I was like, oh my gosh, I can refinance early. So we refinanced our mortgage at like 2.5%, which in terms of dollars, that meant like maybe over $750 savings a month. Was I living in poverty, bare bones poverty? No, I was still living in my home, but I was paying $750 less a month on my mortgage. So that's what we mean about cash flow. There are other things you can look at, like if you've got money sitting in the bank, why not turn it into passive income by just looking for a bank that pays a higher interest rate? A lot of the big common banks will pay like 0.05%. So 1/500th of a percentage return, whereas other banks they'll be paying, you could probably find like 3.5% interest. So basically that's like, I think 70 times higher, something like that. And in terms of expenses, I looked at car insurance, because there were things when you go to insurance broker, they want to make as much money as possible. So again, we can go into, ooh, they're greedy people, but they're just like, hey, we're going to give you the default. It's up to you to take a look at your insurance policy. There were things that I was paying for that I didn't need anymore. I remember one time I had a car that was like 10 years old. It would have a value of maybe $2,500. And I was paying for the collision and everything for a much more expensive car. If I took that away, I reduced the insurance cost by $300 a year. So there are things there. Cell phone service. We have Comcast phone service, which is like the cable provider that does our internet. They have a thing where you can add your cell phone and it's like $12 a month. You've got a limit on data, but so what? I'm paying $12 a month for a cell phone. I don't really use the data much. I can just, use my Wi-Fi, and I'll just save the data for when I need to use the Maps application or something like that. So there's a lot of ways you can reduce your expenses. You just need to look at it. You need to itemize it. So this is like a little bit of work, but there's probably a way you could probably save, a few $100 that way. Now, in terms of shifting in order to start thinking about investing and all that, like I said, we're planting seeds today that maybe it's possible there are companies or investments that will be in alignment with your beliefs, what's important to you, that can also make money for you. Maybe you can think in terms of numbers. The only numbering calculations you need to do are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. That's it. There's nothing else complicated. If you want to get fancy, you can do exponents, but you don't even need to do that. So when I was going through that stressful 3-year period, part of the reason why I was so good at shifting my money mindset and looking for paths to financial freedom was because doing the calculations were very soothing to me. It took my mind off all the other stuff going on. So I just run numbers. I'd be like, okay, if I reduce my car insurance by $100 a year, $100 divided by 12 months is, like $8.33, something like that. See, I've even got the numbers on like mind muscle memory. So I save $8.33 a month. Means I don't have to earn $8.33 a month, which, because I'm only keeping 47.3 cents, I really would have had to earn $16 a month. Now I don't have to do that. Means I can have more freedom of time, which means all these little shifts and amounts have compounded over time, which means now I can be teaching and sharing with you guys right now, because I'm not having to do a whole bunch of marketing and sales, because it's okay for me to make less money now because I've been growing this other aspect, this other way, this passive income to make money. Okay, let me go now to my next question. Let's see. Hey, Holly, how do I shift my thought patterns? How do I shift my money mindset? Well, good question. You guys are already starting because you're here, because I'm introducing ideas that, maybe you've heard of them all, or maybe some of them are new to you, or maybe you've heard of them before, but you didn't really hear it before. And that's happened to me too, where I've read these books and then I'm like, okay, that's great. And I didn't do anything about it. And then as I started shifting my money mindset, I'm like, oh my gosh, this book is so amazing. Look at this. I didn't realize every single paragraph has got important information that I completely ignored before. And now I'm like, I'm going to act on this. So The first step is this openness, which you guys are already demonstrating. So, high five, woohoo, do a little celebration dance for that. The next is awareness. Okay, so I think the hardest part, it's not like you have to go out and, read a ton of books or do a whole bunch of, affirmations or whatever. It is you got to catch yourself when you are following or you're falling into those patterns of thinking that are more along the lines of poverty versus prosperity. So poverty thinking is like rich people are greedy. I don't care about money. Remember, law of attraction. If you don't care about money, you're not going to be attracting money. You do have to care about money. And again, you do not have to be, oh, I'm a greedy person grabbing all the money I can get. That's not how we are. You're not going to become that because you're thinking about money. Instead, you're going to be looking at this opportunity in terms of this is how much freedom it gives me. This is how I can support friends and family. This is how I can grow my practice and help more people. This is how I can, give free services to somebody in need. That's what money is to you. So if I talked about those things, would you care? Of course you do. So you do care about money. So when you catch yourself going, well, I don't care about money, you go, I do care about money because I care about the people that I help and I care about this planet. If I had more money, I could donate more money to these environmental causes. If I had more money, I could maybe do some sort of community collective thing where we are working to making a difference. Maybe we're setting up a community garden to help people. So there's a lot of things that money can do for you, money can buy for you, money can help other people. And I want to emphasize money can buy for you. Finally, after almost an hour, I am no longer freezing my butt. That's how long it took this space heater to heat this room. If I had HVAC in this space, that would be great. Then I wouldn't have to do that. And then, what else is going through my mind? So you have to be aware of this. I was like, oh, but it would be expensive to heat this room. I would have to use fossil fuel, natural gas to heat this room. So then that's bad for the environment. It would be wasteful, right? But if this room was heated all the time or air conditioned in the summer, I'd be in it more often. I would be doing more stuff. I could probably produce content more easily because I'd be in this room a lot more. There's like a nice bright sun coming in. I'd have my desk the right level here, the chairs the right height. I would be more productive and more effective. And in terms of the thinking, though, if I had more money, we have to replace our whole roof. That's going to be like 30 grand. But when we do that, I can install solar panels. When I do that, I can install a heat pump. When I do that, all of my energy could be net neutral. That takes money, and that is going to, and this is where, again, numbers matter, money matters, which is why I costed it out, because I need to know so that I can start thinking bigger. So I can start thinking, okay, the heat pump's probably going to be about 20K. The roof is going to be 30K. The solar panels are going to be 10, 15K. That's money that I need to start creating. One more thing I wanted to mention too is like in terms of mindset, sometimes we see people promoting, hey, you're going to make six figures and all that and do it in like 6 months, a year. They're doing it to promote what they're selling, right? Because it's not sexy to say, hey, you can make six figures in 6 years. So I want to share truthfully, in order to become financially free, it's a journey that you're taking that step today. You're making steps forward to progress to, but it takes time and more realistic scenario. You want to think in terms of years. Like there's this blog I follow. It's called financialsamurai.com. And it's this man who lives in San Francisco. He used to work in the financial industry. He's now financially free because of his investments. He makes enough money from his investments that it pays to support his family very easily and comfortably in San Francisco. This guy is not very materialistic. He has a pretty low-key lifestyle, but he shares about how he's been doing it. And he's very honest. He said it took him 12 years This is somebody with a financial industry background. It took him 12 years to earn enough passive income where he felt comfortable supporting his family in a very expensive city like San Francisco. And then prior to the 12 years, he said he was working his butt off for 10 years to earn the money to invest in these assets. So you don't shift your mindset instantly. You don't discover things to invest in tomorrow. You do this over time. And as you're shifting over time, what happens is you start to see more ways to invest your money. You see more ways to earn money and earn it in a way that is tax efficient so that you keep more of that money and so that compounds and grows. But until you start on that journey, you're unable to see it. All this prosperity is around you right now, okay? But you have to shift your mindset so that you can start seeing this prosperity. So I'm leaving you with the awareness of when you start to think, oh, I can't afford this, you catch yourself and you go, that's not in the budget right now, but I would like to manifest that. Or, oh, I will do without this because, it costs money. You go, I deserve to have this. So I may not know right now how the money is coming to me, but it will come to me. And I will grow to the point where I will figure out how that money will come to me. Another thing too, very important reminder, when you're feeling stressed or worried, you go, wait a second. I have the universe supporting me. Yeah, you can just go, hey, universe, can you help me with finances? I don't have to do it all alone. Universe, I'm open to money now. I don't hate money now. I don't not care about money now. I care about it because it means these other things to me. So you're focusing on what it means to you, not going, yeah, I just need, $5, $10. It's like, I need a freaking new roof. I need a heat pump. I want to be warm. And I deserve to have that money so that I can be warm. So that I thrive because I'm being kind to myself. Not just, hey, how can I thrive and give all myself energy away, but how can I just have some nice things for myself because I deserve it, because I'm making a difference in the world. I can have heat, okay? So you think about it that way as well. And let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to, I'm just tuning into the universe right now. Universe has another message to share. When you're not worried, when you're not stressed, when you're not busy, it's easier to hear the voice of the universe. Things you hear through your heart, and you hear when your mind is quiet. So, and you hear when you give yourself that space and time to listen. Now, you might not hear right away if you're used to being busy all the time. You start going on those like nature walks, or you take time to meditate. When you say, hey, I'm going to have a nice bath today. You're looking after yourself. You're kind to yourself. You're compassionate to yourself. You're creating space for yourself. And then it becomes easier to hear the universe, to hear the whispers. The universe will guide you on your journey if you are taking that moment to listen, where you're not running on the hamster wheel, but you're like, okay, let me just take a breath. I deserve this break. I'm not going to worry about money because the universe is going to help me. The universe is going to help you because you are helping the world and you are expanding. You are increasing energy, you're raising vibration. Of course, the universe is going to help you, okay? You don't need to worry as much. So just be aware of when you're thinking thoughts that are more along of poverty, and then think, what would the prosperity thought be? So this is going to take a lot of practice, okay? Because I still do it. And then the other thing is you trust in the universe. Go, oh yeah, I don't have to do it all by myself, because a lot of healers, you're the givers, you're always taking care of things, organizing, planning, picking up the slack, and it's hard for you to receive help, right? So you're learning how to receive help. And then you don't have to do it all by yourself. And remember also, all of that prosperity, you don't have to learn everything today. We're on its journey. It took that guy with 10 years working in the financial industry. It took him 12 years to become financially free. So you go, well, why should I bother if it's going to take that long? Because you are giving to yourself, which over time is going to, it's like, why bother planting seeds in the garden? Nothing's growing out of the dirt yet. Why water every single day, right? Why put fertilizer? Why put compost? Because you're growing a garden so that when, you decide, hey, I'm going to retire from having to work, you have fruits and vegetables still coming to you. That's something that will be a gift to you. You're giving this to yourself. But again, like I said, you don't have to have it all solved today. So awareness to poverty versus prosperity mindset, trusting in the universe, and knowing that all these opportunities, they're there around you, and it's okay if you don't see them right now. They will become visible to you as you grow. So one example that I'm seeing in my own life right now that has been around for over 15 years, this opportunity existed, and I had no idea of it. Had I started 15 years ago, would have been a lot better in terms of finances today, but it's okay because I'm seeing it now. A friend of mine that I went to acupuncture school with, her father was in the laundromat business, coin laundromat business. Now, I didn't know this. She didn't even pay attention to what he did. She thought he was some sort of consultant for businesses selling stuff. And turns out he's extremely knowledgeable about coin laundromats. And I reconnected with this friend maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. Anyway, on New Year's Eve, we're spending New Year's Eve together. And she told me about what her father said about coin laundromats, how profitable they are, that if you say put $1, let's say you spent $1 on a laundromat. We'll just do this for easy calculations. You could expect to get 25 to 30 cents back that year, and they're semi-passive. If once you get it up and running, you don't even need to, be there that much. You just need to collect the money. And if you get like card readers, it becomes even easier. And I was like, oh my gosh, I had never considered buying or owning, running a laundromat before. And if I had talked to my friend, she had talked to her father 15 years ago, and I had the openness to buy a laundromat, I could be a laundromat mogul right now, and everything I would do would be free, or I'd be totally, doing all sorts of other projects and things. So that's an example of how it's there. So you guys, whether you see it or not right now, it's okay. Your eyes will open to it as you start to grow and walk along this journey. So we're at an hour now. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stop the recording now. So this is going to be posted on YouTube, and Universe is nudging me to do more talks like this. So if you're here live or you're watching the recording, know that there will be more. They might be in different format. I don't know. I'm just kind of going with the flow of things. But I'm here to share more about prosperity for healers with you. So thanks for joining me today. I'm just going to stop the recording right now.